Fight.
What? What's up, everybody? Chill Scrub here, coming back at you with another video. This time is going to be more of a rant based video, but I do want to throw some positive things in here. But the main topic I do want to discuss is the fact that a lot of people in the FGC, when it comes to fighting games, simply just won't get good. And I know it's a very negative opinion, and I'm probably going to get a lot of backlash about this. Is the reason why I didn't want to do the video in the first place. But somebody has to tell people the truth, especially beginners, intermediate, and people that are trying to get to advanced levels of the game. So let's start off with the first problem. The first problem is simply people are afraid of competition, especially in online, especially in ranked matches. People are terrified of fighting somebody that's at their level or better. No matter how many times people will say, I'm not scared of fighting somebody, or I'm not scared of demotion. When you see people play in ranked match, rather it be a streamer or when you're fighting somebody, you will notice the desperation when they're play. They are afraid to lose the rank, which ties into another thing I'm about to say. A lot of people play ranked for accolades and they want to use it to brag for bragging rights and things of that nature, which is nothing wrong with that. The problem comes into play is when you're not improving and you're trying to find the quickest way to get to a certain rank. So let's say if you're striving for Tekken God Omega, which pretty much every ranked player is striving for, that's trying to get to the advanced stages. The problem isn't you wanting the rank. The problem is the way you're trying to achieve the rank. The way you're trying to achieve the rank is by, you know, the quickest way possible. And I'm gonna be honest with you, there is no shortcut when it comes down to actually getting good at the game. In order to get these ranks, these Tekken God Omegas, Tekken God Primes, Tekken God in general, you have to be good at the game, and there's no shortcut. And a lot of people, I'm trying to be nice about saying it, but they gimmick their way to get to certain ranks, and then they get stagnant, and then they stay where they're at, and they wonder why they're not progressing. That's one of the main reasons why a lot of players simply don't get good. My second reason is one that's going to piss off a lot of people, but somebody has to say it. A lot of people try to imitate playstyles like JDCR, Knee, Saint, Speed Kicks when he was playing, Poke Chop, whoever your favorite FGC Tekken player is. A lot of people tend to imitate these players, and the problem with it is not the imitation isn't a necessary problem. It's what comes along with it. You don't understand exactly why they do what they do or why they make these judgment calls in these certain situations, and there's no point in trying to imitate something if you don't understand why you're doing it. That's why it looks sloppy when certain players do certain things, and it looks phenomenal when JDCR or a Knee or a Chanel or Arslan Ash, and the list goes on, make these certain judgment calls. I've had a friend of mine that does that, and I try to correct him on it. He's been improving significantly. His name is Black Let's Drive. He's an okay player. Another point I want to also get to is the whole rage quitting thing. If you actually want to get good, you have to hold your L's, myself included. Everybody who has ever gotten good will tell you they took a lot more L's than they took W's. A lot of people, what they see when they watch people like King J, Main Man Swede, K-Wiz, they see the W's. They see the Tekken God Omegas, the constant Tekken God Primes, and they don't tell you about the journey it took to actually get there. They don't tell you, they didn't wake up and just get good at the game. It takes hours and hours and hours of skill, dedication, a lot of losses, a lot of going to the lab. All these things contribute to actually getting good at the game. And this is the hardest fact that people are not going to be able to take. It's the fact of the matter is, And I know you're gonna get mad when I say this, but it's the absolute truth. A lot of people are not willing to actually put in the time it actually takes to get good at Tekken, period, or any fighting game. Like, it goes back to what I was saying with the imitation thing. They imitate it, but they don't understand why they're doing it. They didn't imitate the hours of hard work, the labbing, learning the frame data, learning which way to sidestep characters, learning matchup specific things. When you look at like, let's take the average player. I'll say myself, right? Because I don't want to talk about somebody else and not talk about myself. Let's talk about me, for example. The reason why I say I will never be a professional Tekken player is because simply enough, I don't want to put the time in. I'm good where I'm at, but I understand that I can never compete with somebody like Cuddlecore or Shadow20Z, or these people have a phenomenal work ethic. Like, you can look at Cuddlecore's channel, and I'll probably link it in the description below, and you can see how much effort she puts into the practice mode, being surrounding herself with competitive players, trying to get out there and trying to make it work. A lot of people don't want to put in the work. Now, you have lab monsters that they stay in the lab 24/7 and they can't apply what they actually learn to an actual match. That's another thing. I always say when you come down to getting better, it's 3 steps to it. And my 3 steps are: first, identifying the problem. Second, finding a solution to the problem, which is the lab. And just keep playing a person over and over again. The third, which is the hardest part, and which is what every pro player can do, and it's called the adaptation part, which is actually applying what you actually learned from the lab and from constant L's into an actual match in an applicable situation. A lot of people do not have that skill. Now, I don't want to be just completely negative and just tell you why. I want to tell you why you can do it too. What it takes to actually be good at this game, it takes a lot of time. There's no shortcut around that. It's going to take a lot of effort. It's going to take a lot of L's. Rage quitting, as I said before, is if you want to get good, it's off the table. If you want to just win, that's fine. But the cheese that you're doing, the flowcharts that you're doing, they're going to have to come off the table at some point, because you're going to run into players where that just simply doesn't work. And I'm going to say this one more time. When it goes back to when I say the flowcharts and it just won't work, and a lot of people at this, again, the stagnation part, they get tired, they get frustrated, and they don't want to play no more. They don't adapt. A lot of people, when they play Tekken 7 or they play Tekken in general, they make it to the first 2 parts. They identify the problem. They understand what they're doing wrong. They understand how to beat the problem. But they don't know how to apply the information to an actual fight. It's just like, let's put a scenario. Let's take me, for example. I'm a Kazuya main. I've been maining Kazuya for about 3 years. I've been maining Law for about 5 years, but I dropped Law because it's irrelevant to the conversation. So, let's say I'm fighting I'll say I'm fighting a Heihachi player, and he happens to do 1-1-2. And I just happen to block it. Now, me personally, I know the optimal punish for that is an Electric Wind God Fist. Now, with that being said, knowing and being able to do is 2 things. I know it's the optimal punish, but can I do that in the middle of a fight in a split-second decision? Can I do that? No. And the reason being, I'm being honest, because in order for me to be honest with you, I have to be honest with myself first. I'm not going to put in the time to sit there and practice electrics 24/7. Now, can I do that in practice mode? Yes. But can I apply it in an actual match? No. So more than likely, I'm going to end up going for the easier punish, which is the 1-1-2 or a back 1-2 or something like that, a simple knockdown and keep it going. While the pro player, on the other hand, they're going to go for the optimal punish, and they're going to make sure they get optimal damage and optimal OP situations and all that. And this is the reason why a lot of people don't make it. But getting back to how you can make it, because we're almost finished with this video. If you really, really want to make it in Tekken, I will give you 3 ways to do it. 1, lab. Learn as much as you possibly can. Make sure you have fun with it too. Mental state is everything. Make sure you have fun. Number 2, do not play players that are significantly better than you. The reason why I say that, and I know this is an unpopular opinion, the reason why I say this is because you're not going to learn by constantly getting bodied. The reason, I know it kind of contradicts what I just said, but hear me out. The reason why I say that is because if I'm playing, okay, let's take me for example. if I'll say I'm like Emperor level at best. If I was to play somebody that's a mentor, yes, they can learn from me, but it's going to be a lot harder because I'm so much higher than them, and the things that I'm going to tell them is going to go right over their head. The same thing when the people imitate pro players. A lot of the things that they say go completely over their head, and they're wondering why it doesn't work out the way they want to. So number 2, definitely play people at your skill level. Once you feel like you can beat this skill level, then you should progress to other and higher ranks and then keep going from there. A steady progression, right? Number 3, mentality, which is the biggest one. I know I mentioned it earlier, but I'm going to talk more deep into it now. Mentality is the biggest thing. So again, I'm going to talk about myself. I've been there where every player has been. So trust and believe when I say I can relate. I've been angry, I've been mad, I've been frustrated because I cannot win, or a certain player keeps beating me and I call it cheese, and it takes me out of my center. As of right now, I'm so calm and I'm so relaxed, and it helps me focus. I'm so zoned in on what's going on. Even if I don't understand how to beat the situation at the moment, my mindset keeps me in a place where I won't get frustrated to the point where I'm getting sloppy. So those are the 3 things that I know for a fact that can help you get better. Again, mentality, playing people at your skill level, and labbing. Now, when I say lab, I have to go back to this one because a lot of people they lab, but they don't lab correctly. And I know I'm supposed to be doing a series on this, on teaching people how to lab, but since we're almost done here, I'm going to tell you how to properly lab, right? So let's say you're an average Tekken player. Let's say you're like, I'll say yellow rank, right? And let's say on a consistent basis you play about 30 matches, right? Tekken 7 has a replay feature where you should be replaying every loss that you just took, right? And out of that loss, you should be focusing on what killed you. Now, in each match, there are multiple things that get you killed, right? It's not just one hit and you die. But in every situation, from every fight I've ever been in when it comes to Tekken 7, whether it comes to Street Fighter or any fighting game I've ever been in, I notice a pattern that I keep getting hit by certain things, and that leads to a kill, right? Or that leads to a bad scenario where it ends up in an even worse scenario later on down the road, right? So what you do is you focus that. You focus on that, right? You take it to the lab, right? And you practice that situation over and over and over again. Now, with that being said, now if you're playing multiple matches, let's say you don't play a lot of Pauls, right? And you notice there's a commonality between every Paul that you play. Let's say they like to do as an ender, they like to do down 1-4 and down 1-4-2, right? You should keep that in the back of your mind. So you should be practicing, putting yourself in a situation where you're at the wall. You should do down 1-4-2 as an ender, and you should have that in your head. Or how could you option select the mix-up? A quick tip: an option select is a thing that covers multiple options at one time. Now there's offensive option selects and there's defensive option selects, but that's too advanced for right now. We just want to keep it at the basics. But you definitely want to use every feature that you possibly can to your advantage, right? So that's all I got for you right now. I wanted to just talk about this dude that I don't know, in the midst of the stream I thought he rage quit. It might have just lagged out, but it looked like a rage quit to me, man. He was getting beat up. So again, the mentality, don't rage quit, dude. If you're getting bodied, hold your L, hold your head up high. And I want to give you this piece of advice that I gave a friend of mine. Just because you lose a match doesn't mean you're trash, and just because you win a match doesn't mean the person that you beat is trash either. You can lose a match and still be a good player. Just keep your head up, keep playing, have a good time, and remember, anything else, you have to have fun. Just have a good time, enjoy the game for what it is. I hate Tekken 7, but I enjoy it casually from time to time. So, with all that being said, thank you for tuning in and listening to me. Y'all have a good one, and peace.